Today we are going to be listening to the new Charli XCX album Brat, or should I say Brat, and it's the same but there's 3 more songs so it's not. So I have heard Brat and I did really like it, but I've not heard the 3 more songs yet, so we're going to listen to these songs and break down the music theory behind them. Okay, so we've got some delay on these synth patches here. So that could be like an E minor perhaps, or a C major 7. Going up to an F, then a G going to an A minor. Okay, straight away, very classic pop songwriting. It's that single note melody with that little change of the phrase just to sort of punctuate it.
Yeah, 360, when you're in the mirror, do you like what you see? When you're in the mirror, you're just looking at me.
Okay, so that's a very interesting contrast in the chorus there with the verse melody. So obviously with the verse melody, we're just going just on those quavers, and then it's a lot more rapid fire delivery in those choruses. Some more 16th notes.
When you're in the mirror, you're just looking at me. I'm everywhere, I'm so Julia.
I quite like that tag at the end compositionally as well. So we're going E, G to D. So those 2 notes are a 5th apart. So we repeat that little idea, but just a 4th up, right? Going back to those quarter notes.
Yeah, 360. When you're in the mirror, do you like what you see? When you're in the mirror, you're just looking at.
Then dropping out those drums in that next chorus there. It's often called something like a quiet chorus. I don't know if there's like an official term for it, but yeah, very common thing to do. Drop out a lot of the instruments in that final chorus before bringing them back in for that final impact.
Right now.
Okay, so we've got some cool vocal chops, vocal samples going on, which normally happens when you record someone singing or someone speaking and you just chop out certain phrases, assign those notes to a keyboard, so you can press the note and it will play that phrase, and you can play it at different pitches as well, depending on how many pitches you assign it to. Chord someone's vocal samples, and you just chord someone's vocal sample.
When I go to the club, I wanna hear those club classics.
There's like some modulation going on in those synths as well.
Yeah, I wanna dance with me.
And like a triplet there on the snare sound. Yeah, some very techno sounds going on with that offbeat hi-hat, the kick, hi-hat, snare, hi-hat pattern, which is very common in techno styles. Almost sounds like a drum and bass sound going on, that wubbiness there. Sounds like there's both an open hi-hat and closed hi-hat sound happening at the same time in that drum machine. So this song's in B flat, but we're only getting those 4 and 5 chords so far, the E flat and F. If you're a regular listener, there are those thirds in the chorus melody. On the E flat there's a G, and then we're going to that A over the F. And yeah, a ton of vocal effects as well going on. We got some auto-tunes in that sort of hyperpop style. Yeah, there's like a vocal sample going on, which has had the formant dropped right down. Spoke about this in the Billie Eilish video. Everyone has a sort of natural formant, but you can manipulate it using plugins. So what might originally sound like can sound like oh. And yeah, some saturation or other distortion type effects going on in the voice as well. I think today or recently, one of my favourite podcasts, Tape Notes, just released an episode with Charli XCX and I'm pretty sure AJ Cook and George Daniel. So I can't wait to listen to that. Funnily enough, I actually bumped into John Kennedy recently at a music festival.
I might say something stupid.
That minor 4 there, so I think that chord progression is A minor to F minor. And those sounds as well, it sounds like some sort of distorted organ or something. A bit crushed organ synth of some sort.
Wear these clothes as disguise.
Okay, we're going from C to F minor now.
To the party door is open, let in but still outside.
Yeah, and what's very interesting about that melody against that chord progression is when she's going to so over the A minor, that's fine, we're going from the 3rd to the 5th, but over the F minor, C is the 5th, F minor 6, the major 7 of F, but over a minor chord, so it creates an F minor major 7.
We've been talking for months, but never in the same room.
Palm muted guitars there, or at least it sounds like it.
But we've been keeping this a secret.
Some synths with a high pass gradually coming through.
I wish you'd talk, wish you'd talk, wish you'd talk, wish you'd just talk to me.
What's very interesting about the rhythm of that phrase in the chorus, it's almost a phrase that's in 3, but because it obviously doesn't fit in one bar, you can't just repeat it and it will just sound the same. So it kind of delays itself by one beat slightly. So it sounds like a bit of rhythmic displacement almost. D minor. A sus there, A sus to A there, very dramatic.
Bad tattoos on leather tan skin, Jesus Christ on a plastic sign.
So we're going D minor, G, A minor, B flat, G minor, A7 to A.
Bad tattoos on leather tan skin, Jesus Christ on a plastic sign. Bad tattoos on leather tan skin, Jesus Christ.
And that's a very nice little substitution there. So instead of a D minor, I think we go from a D over F sharp to G minor, because the 5 of G minor is D7. D major just being the parallel chord to D minor. Very nice touch.
Early nights in white sheets with lace curtains. Capri in the distance.
E minor.
Bad tattoos on leather tan skin, Jesus Christ on a plastic sign. Fall in love again and again, winding roads through.
It's almost like a dembo rhythm or something.
Don't let this be our final song.
I love that slight delay before the gain. Fall in love again and again. It's very subtle. Sounds like a vocoder as well, harmonizing with that.
Always on my mind. Every day, every night, your star burns so bright.
So that rhythm, that dun 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 dun. What are we doing? Whatever that is. That happens a lot in club music, particularly the sort of 2010s David Guetta style, like massive synths. But this is like a very subdued version of that. Getting a very interesting mesh of a lot of sounds here. We're getting these sort of, very George Daniel 80s inspired synths, but as well as that, we're getting all these distorted hyperpop sounds as well. And it really works together. The groove here kind of reminds me of like a mix between the Steve Miller Band and Kraftwerk or something, and I know that's like a super strange comparison. Sounds like a little arpeggiator going on there. It's very housey bass line as well, with those offbeat rhythms, or those dotted rhythms I should say. Some sidechain compression or ducking going on in those synths there. hear how that comes in just after the kick drum. You can hear the kick drum super clearly, and then it breaks through just after it goes. Very interesting piano break there. It's got a lot of jazz influence. I don't know if it's played in or if it was maybe just input into like a piano roll. Sounds like an F major 7 with the E in the bass or something.
Playing demos on my iPhone.
Maybe like a D sus as well. A C with a D in the bass.
I think about it all the time, that I might run out of time, but I finally met my baby, and the baby might be mine.
I like that melodic structure as well. Then we repeat. Then something different, 3/4 through. Then repeat again. So I think we're a semitone up than before, from the 360, which was at the beginning of this album.
Down 999, it's a good time. Till the windows crack, I'll be bumping that. No, I'll never go home, don't sleep, don't eat.
That's very interesting there. So at the end where it goes, there we hear it go, which is obviously a tone up in E flat as opposed to D flat, which is what the song is. It just sounds very disorienting, which I think really works here. Yeah, just a completely almost atonal bass with just every frequency happening at once, so you can't even really make out the note, but I guess it's just all about that impact. Something a bit trancey.
I don't know what's going on most of the time. I'm out my mind.
So that melody sort of outlining the upper structure of that chord, so we're going from E up to F sharp, and over that E the melody's going major 7, 5th, 3rd. And then just sort of outlining the triad over that F sharp chord.
My heart began to rise. I panicked quietly.
And what's interesting, again, going into the whole idea of repeated melodies and how they obviously change the relationship between the melody and the note depending on what chord we're on. So just then we're going, which is fine, that's the 3rd of E. So when it moves up to that F sharp, that then becomes the 9 of F sharp, which again, I think in this sort of intro build-up context, it leaves it sort of hanging up in the air a bit.
I said goodbye before you came. I turned around and ran away. I was too scared, I should have said hello, 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 hello.
I like those synths there. And I think that hello is very interesting. So it's kind of alternating between that sus4 and the 3.
Goodbye.
Oh, that's a very trancey rhythm in the keys going on there. So yeah, very common thing in trance music, or to be honest, just a lot of dance music, is in a build-up when you have a certain part, say it's a snare or a keys part, might just start out going crotchets, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 quavers, 16th notes, and then maybe even more than that, and I think it does go to like 30-second notes, or, you know, hemi, demi, semi quavers or whatever else. Anything to just really accelerate it. I really love that lead part. It's got some pitch bending going on. Sounds like an old like Yamaha synth clarinet or something, you know, just something that's meant to be an orchestral instrument but just doesn't sound like it at all. And then in that rhythmic chord part in the background, we're having a bit of a high pass, making it sound more muffled as we come towards the end. Obviously you kind of do the opposite of that in the build up, you roll it back even more so the full sound of it comes through. Very clubby, almost hip hoppy, I guess, synth lead as well. Sounds like one of those synths where you play an individual note and a chord plays, so they're just going D, A to E, but that's sounding as a D minor chord, A minor, then E minor, and maybe they've put a bit of an arpeggiator on it. Maybe there's a delay or other rhythmic thing going on. I could be completely wrong.
Got my finger on the detonator. Crazy girl shit, gonna go spring breakers.
Just more of those absolutely filthy bass parts. Thank you so much for watching. I know it's been a bit of a wait since the last video, so I really appreciate your patience. I feel like I'm saying this at the end of every video, but this is the 3rd video I've filmed within the last few days or so. So you can expect to see them much more regularly now, and I'll see you next time.